Thank you. Thank you all for letting me come up and speak before you. My name is Clarice Jackson. You need me to spell it? ClariceJackson. First, I'd like to thank Senator Cook for the flowers that she sent on behalf of my daughter. Of course. My daughter just passed away. She was one of the homicide victims that murdered just a short while ago. And so it's with heavy heart that I am sitting here, but I felt that this was very, very important for me to be here, so I am here. I am testifying today as a parent and also a dyslexia specialist and educator of children who are in the Omaha Public School System, and a member of the Learn Coalition, which is the Liberate, Educate, and Reform Nebraska Coalition. And we are a coalition that supports opening the door to high-quality charter schools in Nebraska, and we support the intent of LB 616. We believe the forthcoming amendment that has been proposed by the National Alliance of Public Charter Schools, who the Learn Coalition works closely with and has been in contact with Senator Larson's office, has made some suggestions that we support. We believe in the bill, but the bill needs to be improved. So I think we can agree upon that. What I would like to just say, I was here last year, and I'm here again this year. And last year I gave you the testimony on my daughter, and there were a lot of questions that you all asked about. You asked Senator Larson, and so I'm going to try to, in my mind, remember some of those things because I thought they were important and I wanted to answer them. One of the first things is that parents deserve to have additional options. We have an educational system that exists right now that is antiquated. It's a one-size-fits-all model, and all children don't learn the same. And there's none of us sitting up here. You all have different viewpoints on different things, and that's the same when it comes to education. My particular daughter was one who struggled to read, write, and spell, made it to the 4th grade unable to read. And I tried everything within the public school system to get her help, to no avail. And at the time, I became her mother when she was 8. I was 20 years old. So my income right then and there, I was trying to go to college at the same time. I didn't have it. But the school system didn't have the answer for my daughter. And I didn't have the money to pay for private tutoring or to pay for a private school. But I will say through the grace of God, I found a way to get her into a private school. And she went from a non-reader to a 3rd grade reader in 1 year, and the public school system had her from pre-K to 4th grade. And so time waits for no one. These children have been waiting for things to change in the public school system. They have not. It is an educational injustice to sit up here and, with all due respect, to be pious and pretend like the educational system in Nebraska is okay, because it is not. It has not been for a very, very long time. And the crime rate that is produced from the lack of education, specifically that minority children are getting, is the reason that I partly blame my daughter being dead today.
Ms. Jackson, your time's out, but maybe we can allow you to say a little bit more by the questions we ask. Would you be amenable to that?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I guess one of the things that I struggle with, and understandably you felt like your daughter was shortchanged by the system.
Absolutely.
Did you reach out to the teachers? Did you reach out to the administration? Did you reach out to the school board?
I would say absolutely yes. I went above and beyond. I almost lost my job advocating on behalf of my daughter. I now advocate on behalf of other families who have the same issues that my daughter had, which was dyslexia. And it did not work. I am a huge activist in the community. I go to school board meetings. I've been there when Willie Barney has testified with the Empowerment Network and said we have models that are working, such as focus schools. I'm not against focus schools either. I'm for choice. I believe that it's a parent's right and their option to have the choice to send their child to a school that is high performing and making the grade. If it's not, I don't believe our taxpayer money should be going into schools that continue to perpetually fail our children. So So I've been to school board meetings where we've said, why aren't you replicating what's working? And they have no answer for us. But we're still stuck in schools like Howard Kennedy, where the reading proficiency rate is 28%. And if I pulled out all the other data that I have, about 12 of the 24 schools in OPS, all of them are not decreasing the achievement gap. It is enlarging. And we know that charter schools, specifically for African American students, oftentimes eradicate the achievement gap. And so I'm just very perplexed as to why Nebraska is one of the last 8 states to still be so opposed to options. We're not saying charter schools are a silver bullet, but what we are saying is open up the door and let parents have the choice in deciding where to send their kids so that they don't have to send them all across the city to go to school, where they can have them right there in their neighborhood. They can be proud of these schools, and that their kids can receive a high-quality education, and that the parents have the right and the option to say, if this school, which has no accountability right now in OPS, teachers are not even evaluated. And this is not a knock against OPS specifically, this is just truth. So there is no evaluation method in place to evaluate teacher effectiveness. When they did a study, the teacher morale, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but it was significantly low. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If the teachers don't even have the expectation that your children can learn, and the kids are coming into an environment and a culture that is that, what do you think is going to happen? So we've got to do better. I don't know how many times we're going to have to come down here, but to see a mother such as myself, and again, I don't want no pity from anybody, but for me to be here today, when I just lost my child due to violent crime, you should really understand we're not going away. We will keep coming because the best interest of children is our best interest. It's the best interest of everybody.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Jackson? Senator Groney.
Thank you, Chairman. Would you consider your background as poor, that you were poor?
Absolutely not.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No.
All right.
Middle class.
Poor middle class. But we keep hearing from the experts that the reason the children don't learn is because they're poor.
All right.
Does that child know they're poor when they're sitting in that classroom?
Absolutely not. I would say, and this is not to knock my daughter's biological family, that they were not wealthy. And she is a prime example. Letitia J. Fox is her name. She's a prime example of someone who came from what you would consider a poor family, who, by me having another option outside of the traditional public school to learn, and she prospered and she flourished when she was given the right environment and the right curriculum. So absolutely not. Education is the gateway out of poverty.
Thank you. I agree.
Do you have any questions?
I think I'm going to save it until I read the language of the amendment, and I will also say that I was not poor either, Senator Groney.
Yes, not all black people are poor.
Okay, or the ones from North Omaha were.
You mean that? Yes, I don't think you mean that.
No, he didn't.
But
I don't
yeah,
think.
not all black people are poor, but there are a lot of low-income people.
They use it as an excuse,
They
those
do.
who don't educate the children.
They do.
Some.
They do. Yes. Yeah. And it's not an excuse. Right. But it's an educational justice. I just want to go on record of saying that again. It's an educational justice, a civil rights issue that we continue to allow our children to be uneducated, unable to read, and we block options that can help them succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson.